Welcome back to the channel. I found yet another AEV Prospector XL here at Larry H. Miller, Sandy. They do have this truck available. It's actually cheaper than the last one that I reviewed. But if you don't know, the XL does give you this 40-inch tire. And just to give you perspective, this is like a 33, 34-inch tire, somewhere in there. Look at the size comparison between them. Like, that is insane. And you can also see the height that you have up front. Now, they have not lifted this truck. The only lift is going to come from the 40-inch tire. So if you go from a 33.5-inch tire up to a 40-inch tire, that's going to be a pretty good lift on the truck. Now, you would obviously get this lower bumper if you do get this build, but this brush guard would be an option, as well as these lights and the winch. Now, they do use a different winch from the last time I was here. I think it was either a Warren winch that they use. This is basically called a come-up winch. Never heard of them before, but it's like a 16.5 level that they have here, and so it can basically tow out 16,500 pounds. So that's more than enough for this truck. So they definitely overbuild it. You can also see down below they have a brush guard for the radiator or the intercooler, since this is a turbo diesel. And yeah, look at the overbuilt features they have on this front bumper too. Love the fact that they still retain the fog lights and your parking sensors, so you don't lose any of your features with this upfit. And this is going to be a Laramie trim, and it obviously has a night edition package too. And this is, again, what you would have in stock form. This looks good, but this just looks insane. If you have an overlander type RV, this would be the perfect setup for you. I mean, these tires, I'll show you the capacity. They still have a ton of capacity for towing, things like that. Now, because of the customizations they've done on this truck, you can pretty much tell that they have a wider fender flare in order to make these 40-inch tires fit perfectly. So they give you these corner lights, you know, for that extra width that they have on this truck. Also, this truck does have the clearance lights, which help with that too. Now, check out the wheel design. I do like the simplicity of this. It's not too much. And this is going to be a Cooper tire. It's a ST Pro. And it's going to be a 40 by 13.5. It's a 17-inch wheel. And then here are the capacities for it right here. It's going to be 3,195 pounds. And this is going to be at 35 PSI. So that's not too bad. One thing to note, these tires are made in America too. But you can tell, like I said, that this suspension is pretty much stock. They're just using an upgraded Bilstein shock here. And you can get Bilsteins as a standard feature on this truck too. It is an option for the 2500s, but this one does not have it. But like I said, the suspension is pretty much standard on this one. Now, they do have some upgrades, you know, on the steering rack, as you guys can see there. You kind of can see it, I guess, right there. Now, out back, you kind of can see too that they have these really wide fender flares, and they do redo the fender well inside too, because of the extra width. And check out your rear bumper too. They give you these rock rails in case you do go off-road. Again, they still retain those rear parking sensors. It's a really cool build. They also relocated the Cummins turbo diesel badge on the back. The reverse lights are down below. And if you get stuck, they do provide some hooks to get you out. I also noticed that they upgraded the rear diff cover too on this one. The other one that I reviewed did not have that. Mud guards are really girthy too. And look how far they come out to you on the side. And the night edition really does make this build look great. And because this is a Laramie, you do have an assisted tailgate. And then check out your spare tire. Now, they did not opt this truck to have a fifth wheel prep package, which is a good thing, because it's probably not going to be able to tow a fifth wheel because of the height. And this is a 2500 too, so having a travel trailer or something like that would be perfect for this setup here. And they still give you your class 5 receiving hitch and all your plugs out there. I like that they give you this upgraded license plate light too. And then let's go ahead and check out the interior now. Not much is going to be different for the interior. This does have a 6-passenger configuration, and what they normally do for the AEV is they normally give you the upgraded headrest with the AEV logo on them, and they also upgrade your gauge cluster too, so it has like a nicer, sportier appearance that says AEV. So they don't just skimp out on the interior, they actually give you some extra upgrades inside of here too. Now, one thing that's really cool is the fact that you do have these auxiliary switches. So these are going to actually work your little light pods on the front, which I'm going to show you right now. Now, if you push this button right here, this is the auxiliary one. Those will turn on the lights up front, and just look how bright they are too. Those are like super bright, and they go extremely well with your daytime running lights. Now, you do have the option to get 4, and if you get the 2 additional ones that go in the middle, it'll be on the auxiliary 2. Last thing to mention about the lights are you do have these like vanes back here. You can see them right there. That's going to help with heat, and you can adjust these too if you like. So that's something that's really cool about these. They're very versatile on this front bumper. And finishing off the interior, this does have the 8.4-inch display, which is a great option because you can retain these buttons here for heated, ventilated seats and heated steering wheel. Dual climate control is easier to use, and like I said, I think this is a nice alternative to the 12-inch display. Now, UnderCover 5 is obviously going to come standard. This does have the navigation. So again, this truck is available here at Larry H. Miller, and they actually just got it too. So this has a really nice build to it. I love the fact that they build it with the 6-passenger. This is a really cool overlander to have. I prefer to have the 6-passenger with something like this. And yeah, this truck has a lot of great amenities on it. And out back, 60/40 bench. If you would like to sleep back here, this does turn into a flat floor surface by flipping this out here. And your rear occupants still have 4 USBs, air vents, power plug for the rear occupants. All right, so let's take this for a quick drive. The truck should be pretty much warmed up. I am going to monitor the fuel economy, so I'm going to reset the trip here. It shows it was getting 15.5. I would venture to say that if you're on the highway, you probably won't really notice a huge difference with these tires. But as far as like going in the city, you might see like maybe a 1 or 2 MPG drop. But one thing that I can tell you right out of the gate, like maneuvering this truck is super simple. I would venture to say anyone can jump inside of this and drive. Like, the tires make this truck drive like it's on a cloud. And as I've said in other videos, the Ram 3/4 tons drive the best. The air suspension is a plus, and I think having these Bilstein shocks, having these really big sidewalls, it really does handle good. Now, I will say there's no body roll, which is weird. That's a little strange. Like, I was expecting a little bit from these tires, but you know, even taking this turn at 40 miles an hour, it's not bad. We're gonna check out some acceleration here. Let me see where I'm at. I don't know where I'm at actually, but this is super. This is super. I really do like the way this feels. Brakes, I mean, this truck has pretty darn good brakes from the factory, so you don't really have to do too much there. I mean, this also has the exhaust brake because it's a diesel, and Ram is pretty legendary when it comes down to the exhaust brake and the tow haul mode. Like, the transmission, which is a 6.8 RV, does a really good job downshifting. This truck is geared at a 373 out back. Now, with having this taller tire, you are changing the gearing a little bit on the truck, so just keep that in mind. Let's get in the middle lane. All right, here we go. Wide open throttle. Yeah, the truck definitely, it feels a little bit sluggish. I will admit that it does feel just a little bit, but it's not bad. Now, I'm going 40, let me get up to about 50 here. 50 miles an hour. There's not a lot of road noise from the tires. See, that's surprising. That to me is surprising. Now, I can feel like the tires pulling a little bit, but it's not bad. This really does feel comfortable. And I was expecting a little bit more road noise from these tires. One thing that's really cool is like the looks you get inside the AEV Prospector. It is so funny. Like when people see this gigantic truck, they have to look like it looks crazy probably going down the road. I mean, having these huge tires, having that brush guard out front. I wish I could have turned the light pods on just to show it off a little bit better, but man, like I could not imagine this thing, you know, going off road. I can tell it handles well. Now, when you turn the steering wheel, you know, normally when you have big old oversized tires, you always expect there to be a little bit of rubbing, and that's just not the case here. The truck feels really, really planted. I'm very surprised by how well this truck feels. It does feel pretty normal, and the brakes don't really feel like you're having to push them down so much to stop it, because I mean, you really don't have a big wheel on here. Like the wheels are typically pretty heavy once you get into that 20-inch wheel size, but having all this tire, I mean, I know these tires are not lightweight. I'm sure you're gonna pay for that extra weight, but I don't feel like you need bigger brakes on this truck. Now, one thing to monitor on this truck is the tire pressure. So these do max out at 35 psi, so you just keep that in mind. I think that's gonna really help make this handle a lot better, but if you go a little bit lower than that, you could run into a little bit of issues with lower tire pressure. But all in all, like I'm gonna take this turn a little bit quicker. I'm gonna go about 25 around right here. Oh yeah, that is amazing. And I'm serious, like the people are like, you can clearly see people just staring. Like I bet it looks crazy on the road. I bet it does. What I'm gonna try to do, I don't know if I'll be able to, because obviously I would have to drive this truck, or I'd have to get the dealership to drive this truck to one of the RV dealers. But there's these Black Series travel trailers. I really wanna hook one of these up to one of those so you can see the build together. Like I couldn't imagine that. That would look so stinking cool. Like the Black Series trailer with this, amazing. Now let's take a look at this fuel economy here. It's probably not going to be good. Okay, that's not bad. We've been in the city here this whole time, in the city, getting almost 10, and we stopped at like 2 or 3 stoplights, and I've already done a few wide open throttles, and this truck is not doing bad. You can definitely hear the tires. I'm not going to lie to you. The tires they're not loud, but they're there. You can tell that there's some road noise. Even going over that train track, I didn't feel the steering wheel pull away from me. Going around the curve at 40 right here, oh man, this isn't bad. I would definitely put this on my list if you want something that looks really cool, that you don't have to go out and do all the work yourself. You're not gonna fit 40s on a truck like this from the factory. Like if you wanna do this, this is the way to go, because they move the axle, it's all under factory warranty, and it's just done up correctly. You have to think about tire pressure monitoring, you have to think about all these little small details. Like typically you would have to cut the fender wells when you do these types of upgrades, and I don't think they did any of that. So all they did was, you know, move the axle, I think, up front, and they got the right offset for the wheels for them to fit, and then the fender flares, it just makes it all look flush. And yeah, this is a great setup. Alrighty, so we're back on the road to the dealership. I put the navigation in, so I was able to type in Larry H. Miller, and it was able to find it. On my truck back in 2019, you couldn't type in the name for a destination. It wouldn't work properly. But I guess on the UConnect 5, they might have fixed that. And yeah, I'm at 10.6 MPG. Probably shouldn't even show this to you because I did a lot of stop and go and a lot of city driving. But if I were to get on the highway, I think I could easily get 15, 16 miles per gallon. But I don't think you can expect much more than that from this type of truck, because these tires are gonna really hurt your fuel economy. But I'm back at the dealership at 10.9, 11. I will say that's pretty dang good. That is pretty dang good for driving in the city. So yeah, this maneuvering this thing is so easy, super easy. And if you are in the market for something like this, it's already built. They have 2 here at Larry H. Miller. They have a white one and they have the silver one. This has a 6-passenger, I believe that's a 5-passenger. And that one has the 4 light pods too. But yeah, I definitely recommend that. Look at this, I have it locked up. There's no rubbing, super truck. See you guys in the next video. So here are the numbers for this upfit. The gross vehicle weight rating is going to be the same at 10,000 pounds. The gross axle in the front and rear are going to be 6,000 and 6,390. And here are the wheel specs that they have. And down below it's going to show you guys the payload capacity. So it's going to be 1,605 pounds. And here's the original payload capacity for the truck before the upfit. And then here's the max towing.